What's up, guys? JR Raymond back again. I want to talk about the Gigi Mason thing again because there were some comments that came through on there that actually made some sense and made me rethink things just a little bit. So, everybody that commented on there, I absolutely appreciate that. But yeah, I want to touch on a couple of the comments on the entire USBC, the fines, Gigi Mason, and apparently there were obviously multiple other women who also got fined on this as well. But we're going to talk about that here in a minute, so stay tuned. Hey, if you guys didn't already know, I do virtual lessons. So if you're trying to better your game over the summer to get better, if you're not in my area and you can't get lessons in person, make sure to head over to 10pindoctors.com and you'll be able to schedule virtual lessons over there. They're real cheap. If you're a member of the website, which is only $9.99 a month, you get it's over a $10 discount. So instead of the $40, it's like $29 or something for virtual lessons. So make sure to head over there and sign up for your virtual lessons. Generally, what you want to do is have the camera set up directly behind you so I can see your entire approach and I can see everything from your feet all the way through, and we can make decisions on which way we want to go. You can tell me the things you want to work on, the things you want to improve, and we can go from there. I create a video based on the video you sent me, and I send it back to you. So head over there if you want to get virtual lessons, and don't forget to buy the books as well at bowlerx.com. There's going to be links in the description talking about the release, the approach, and then also the mental game. We have 3 different books that are available at bowlerx.com. Links in the description. All right, but so this Gigi Mason thing, some people started saying, a lot of people disagreed with USBC's decision to keep the fine in place. And there was a few people that actually made some good points where they said, you know what, it's about professionalism. And most people, when they see the word mofo, they understand what that's really short and abbreviated for. And that could look somewhat unprofessional. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, probably right. Even though it's in her language, it's in her vocabulary and everything. Like, I don't think I could make, like, if my slang word was to call people hicks, like, we'll see all y'all hicks later, that type of thing. I don't know. I'm just throwing a word out there. I don't have any type of slang word like that, but that really wouldn't sound the greatest. So I guess I kind of understand what they're saying there. But what I think probably should have happened is I think she didn't get a chance to explain that she uses that in her vocabulary all the time because they obviously don't pay attention to her posts. And if she would have had that opportunity to explain it to them, then maybe they would have just given her a warning instead of, slapping her with a complete fine. The good news is she did get all of her entry fee back for that, at least as far as I know. I don't know how it worked for the second event, but I know for the Queens, they got their entry fee. Anybody that hit those pairs ended up getting their entry fee back. So that was a pretty good chunk of change that USBC had to fork over to be able to cover for these ladies, even after paying the prize fund out and everything. So I can imagine any of the fine money that they did get, they're like, well, we probably have to keep a hold of that because we've got a bunch of money that is going out for refunds and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's multiple ways that this could have been handled. I'm not so sure. I don't want to say this was necessarily handled improperly. I can see both ways. I can see why the fine was kept. It's a tough one because you're really not supposed to. I've been on that end before. I've been fined by the PBA for talking about lane conditions and stuff to the public on Facebook posts and all that. And it's tough because when you go out there and something unexpected happens, you're supposed to just, take it on the chin and be like, all right, stuff happens. Me in the past, I was fined for the conditions being the same all the time. Like it was like it was 4 or 5 weeks in a row, whereas it felt like we were bowling on the exact same pattern every single week. And it was brutal. So I made a post about it. It wasn't brutal as in the scoring pace was brutal. It was brutal as in I was tired of having to do the same thing every week, and I wasn't good at it, and many guys aren't good at it. It really felt like, if you didn't have 500 RPM and if you couldn't just loft the left gutter cap, you were in trouble. So I don't know. It was just the scores were high, but it was because, it was easy to get there. But if you didn't have the right tilt, the right rotation, and yeah, I know that's kind of on us. We're supposed to be able to change and manipulate that stuff. But I don't know. That's really loud. Hopefully that stops. There we go. I think the music's done now. Sorry if that was loud. My kid's got something on the TV. But yeah, I mean, it's tough when you see the same pattern. And that's kind of one of those things with the patterns out there is when you're using the same machine and the patterns are designed by the same person. For the most part, when you look at the patterns, they're not really that much different from pattern to pattern. A little bit of different taper here and there, but for the most part, the patterns all break down the same. They all do the same thing. And I think that's kind of why I've always been the advocate of trying to get like different lane patterns or different lane machines going down the lanes. Like one week using Brunswick, next week using Kegel, kind of switching it back and forth or something, or, going first half with Brunswick machines, second half with Kegel. But you can't really do that because Brunswick pays a whole lot of money, from what I understand, to be able to use their machines out on the PBA Tour. And I think Kegel does the same thing for the PWBA Tour. So, and it's nothing against Brunswick. I don't have anything against Brunswick. Those machines are just completely different than Kegels. They lay them out different for some reason. I have more success on Kegel patterns than I do those PBA Brunswick patterns. So that's why generally in the regional tour, I don't have a problem out at the regional tour stuff because most times they're just using the house machine, which most houses I would assume have, and a lot of the times that I've seen it, they have the Kegel machines. And for those of you that don't know, the Kegel machines, they can oil the lanes going down the lane, and then they can oil them coming back as well. Whereas Brunswick just oils them going forward. They don't oil them on the way back. And that can cause some different things to happen for how the lanes play and all that. So, it's just one of those things you kind of have to look at and try to adjust as best you can and figure it out. I've been lately teetering on, do I want to keep bowling? Like, obviously I'm going to keep bowling, but how much do I want to bowl full time? Like, my focus has been on writing books and coaching and teaching and training and selling product and, doing those types of things, making videos, so, and that's a big, that's where all my income comes from, is by doing this type of stuff is, so anything bowling is just, side money as long as I'm bowling well. And when I'm kind of just not practicing a lot and giving money away by going to these tournaments not sharp, that throws away some of my money. And I'm not okay with throwing money away, and I'm too competitive. My pride takes a big hit when I don't bowl well, because I have access to doing whatever I need to do for the most part. If I want to practice, I can practice. So I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to start practicing a little bit more again and try to hone in on some things, just get my practice. I need to do this more. I need to talk bowling more. I need to get back into it. A lot of the times when I do this, I actually get more into bowling. Like, I'm that guy that I know it sounds bad, but I'll get my phone set up when I'm driving my truck, and I'll have, past PBA events going when I'm heading to an event. That gets me in the mood, that gets me going. So generally I have to do stuff like that, but you know what I mean? So I'm going to get back into it again, and I'm going to get practicing a little bit more. And it's an opportunity to get my kid practicing a little bit, see if he wants to get into it a little bit more, because he loves to practice with me. So that's always good. But yeah, hey, make sure to hit those links in the description. I'm going to get out of here. Tell me what you guys think. Did she deserve the full fine, or do you think maybe a warning was good? But again, I appreciate everybody that commented. I know I didn't really get a chance to comment back for anybody. Maybe I'll get through there and make some comments myself. But for those of you that said, yeah, maybe it's just a professional thing and she needs to just change her wording and not use mofo, I tend to maybe partially agree with that. I think that's a good point. So anyway, I'm out of here. Hit the links in the description for the books and stuff like that, and I will see you guys next time.